Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started here, we'll need to run through our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security company or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the news, okay, and see what we have post Christmas that could have an impact on us in the markets today. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the. All right, so let's see. Actually, we don't have any news that could has an impact on the markets. All right, so we have our next bit of news here, according to Financial Juice, that could impact the market. All right, hopefully you guys can see my screen here, guys. Something happened. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys can see. Excellent. Okay. So I was just saying that, looking at the daily chart, there's really nothing on the daily chart is indicating that there's any sort of slowdown here in the gold market. Okay. Gold market still is indicating, by all indications that we are very much still in a bullish market. We're above all the EMAs that we care about, right? The 200, the 100, the 50, the 21, I think that's the order I have here. We have the 20, the 50, at 100, and the 200. So 20, 20, 20, 20, 50, 100, 200. Price is above all of them. Okay. Indicating that there is still quite a bit of momentum and to the upside in this market. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn off at least one of our indicators, and that's initial balance here for a moment. Okay, so there's our turn off VWAP here for a moment as well. Okay, so you can see here that we're above, again, similar to what we were saying with the daily. We have a market that continues to show signs of strength here to the upside. Okay, so we have broken some recent structure to the upside as well here. Okay, right. So there's that used to be resistant, but now that we've closed above it, is proving to be an area, maybe a potential support up here around let's call it 4527.4. Okay, so market continues to show signs of strength. We are making higher highs and higher lows. We'll just change to the normal market here. No reason for us to be looking at the micros. This is the this is Thursday, and this is okay. I don't know why we're not. Okay. So any case, market still showing signs of strength. We are above some of these value zones that we've care about from prior. Okay. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what the 30-minute chart is saying to us. Okay. So let's see. All right. So this is we were pretty much range bound for most of the day or most of the night during the Asia and London session. Okay, nothing really to speak of here. Okay, we did open up with a gap, so there is a little bit of pent up demand here that we had when we opened the session up here yesterday evening. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that in green, indicating that this is an area of some support. Right, you can see the gap that was created as a result of that. All right. Again, let's see. Do we have my 9 EMA? Where's my 9 EMA? Let's go ahead and add my 9 EMA here to this discussion. We'll make this a little bit bolder here. I might even want to change the color. Let's see. I'm going to make this a little bit thicker. Okay. In any case, you can see that price continues. Well, actually, of late, you can see that price has remained in some sort of range here, right? Okay, of late, right? So ever since we had the open, right, we've been in some sort of range. A lot of overlapping candles, really not giving us much indication as to direction here. Okay. And as a result, the 9 EMA and the 20 have kind of met here. We're going to go ahead and open up the VWAP here, see where VWAP is in all of this. Okay, there's our VWAP, also kind of nestled up into this area. Volume delta really not giving us anything in the way of direction in this market. So outside of the gap that we created on the open of the session, as again, we've been in some sort of range. Okay, so the question now becomes, are we going to be able to get above 45.50? Okay, 45.50 seems to be an area, at least of temporary resistance in this market. Okay. So that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Now, if we do manage to break above 45.50 with some volume, well, we can use 45.50 as an area for us to maybe look to participate in this market. Okay. That would be one scenario. All right. If we continue to hold 45.50, I'm going to go ahead and open up settlement price here. Settlement probably down below here. The longer we stay here, without making a new high, it does open us the possibility of the market maybe coming back and retesting the gap that was created as a result of the open of the market. Okay. So that opens up that possibility. Let's take a look and compare initial balances. I think I know the answer to this question, but we'll just do this nonetheless. And we'll take a look here at the comparison between start off with the Asia market. Okay, Asia market was quite neutral. Okay, you can see that the Asia market was quite neutral. Basically, stayed in its in range for pretty much the entire session here. We peaked above, we peaked below. Did not find either participant to help drive the market in either direction. London. Let's take a look at London here. There it is. London. Okay. Also quite similar. Okay. Very, very range bound at this point. Now, what we are doing in London that we weren't we're not able to hold. We just a moment ago we were kind of peaking above the initial balance high, this 45.50 level that we mentioned. Okay, so if price is, as I mentioned earlier, if price is able to get above 45.50 and hold with some volume, I'm looking at the volume delta here to see if it gives us any kind of indication. right? If we can hold above 45.50, that opens up the door for higher prices. Okay, how far higher? Well, we have the initial balance extensions here that could that could offer us a little bit of guidance here. We have up at the 200% extension, we have 45.73, 45.75. The 100% brings us up to about 45.62. Okay. So again, coming into the market, I think we're coming into a market that is probably more neutral than bullish, but certainly showing signs of some bullish price action of late. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for you for the maybe I'll take a peek here at the visible range volume profile here if I can load it. A visible range. Did I remove it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah, we're above the visible range as well. So that's also kind of an indication of kind of bullish behavior here. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead now. Unless there's some questions here on the gold chart, it does appear that the gold is looking to continue its upside move here in this market. Okay. Before we look at some alternatives, we'll go through our regular set of instruments, and then maybe we can come back to some alternatives, including the silver. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, crude oil market. Start off with a daily. I thought this market was maybe showing some signs that maybe it could head higher here. Okay. And all it's done is really come back to a level where we found some sellers in the past. So it's been having some trouble getting above 59. Okay. And you can see that the market continues to be in some sort of downside structure. Okay. So market is still in some bearish structure. We did have a few days here of a rally. Okay. But we this rally kind of lost a little bit of steam here around the 59 level. Okay, once it got to 59, we start to get our little doji candles, right? We got a doji candle here, not quite a doji candle, but a high wave candle nonetheless, with wicks on both ends and small bodies. And now we're developing kind of what it looks like a kind of reverse hammer, right? And kind of giving us the indication that maybe the market wants to make another leg to the downside. Okay, so crude oil looks to me that it is maybe beginning to look or follow the path that is followed up till now, and that is bearish. Okay, right. So again, looking at crude oil, that's kind of the path I'm seeing at this point on a daily. All right. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here for a moment and take a look here. We have a developing 4-hour candle that is looking bearish. Nonetheless, the market still seems to be in some sort of range here of late. Okay, on the open, we've been in range, much like all the other markets. We've reached I think this is the 200 MA, okay, 200 EMA, all right, on this time frame. We reached this and we've stalled, okay? We did something similar with the 100, okay? But this seems to be a little bit more significant. So as long as price remains below the 200 EMA, then the path of least resistance still seems like it would be to the downside. If it manages to get above 59, then I think it opens up the door for a possibility of the price to reach 60. Okay, but we're not there right now. Right now, we're developing a candle that's indicating that maybe there's further downside in this market. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, you can see that range kind of price action here. We did take a little bit of a peek above here. Looks like into London, only to find sellers. Okay, we took a peek above, only to find sellers. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the initial balance and compare across the various markets. Okay, so if we look at this, we'll start off with the Asia market here and then move our way into the London. So starting off with Asia, you can see that the market has been in some sort of range, right? Some sort of range for pretty much the entire Asia session, right? Very narrow range, I might add, right? We low end of initial balance 58.41, top end of initial balance 58.55, 14-point range. Not really a range that's going to offer us much in the way of opportunity. As we approach London, right? As we headed into London, markets started to expand here a little bit. Okay, so we got a much wider initial balance range. So instead of 58.41 or 30 to 41, our low end is, and the initial balance was 58.33, and our high end was 58.62. So 30 tick range. Now we did make an attempt. We did make an attempt to move higher. Okay, nice little extension to the upside to the 50% range, but we were not able to hold. We were not able to hold the top end of the initial balance range for London. On the contrary, what we found were sellers. Okay, rotated through the entire range here, and now it's looking that maybe it's looking to maybe extend here to the downside. So a couple of levels that I'm going to be watching, assuming that this indeed plays out. Well, 58.33, I think is going to be a logical level if I'm looking to if I do indeed get an extension and close. 58.33 seems to be a market that I might be interested in. 58.33 might be an area for a possible execution, and then I have 57.80. I have 57.80 here as a target for that potential move. Okay, so 57.80 would probably be the earliest, given the current price action that I'm seeing, would be the earliest that I would probably entertain. Possibly 58 might be another such level, but 58.80 seems like a logical level if I'm going to be really demanding a good price. 57.80 here in the crude oil seems to be a logical market to logical price location to entertain. Okay. Otherwise, then if I'm still looking to participate, well, we've already mentioned 58.35 as an area maybe for a potential execution to the downside. I'm going to use the 9 EMA as kind of a guide, my VWAP as a guide, to see if I can get myself in an area where I can participate in this market to the downside. Okay. Taking a look. So right now we're kind of hovering around the settlement price from a couple of days ago. Okay. So we're at this 58.35 level. Okay. Not really aggressively reacting away from it just yet. So again, similar viewpoint on the opposite direction. Taking a look at this, I would say that the crude oil market is in some sort of range to bearish. Okay, bearish in the sense that the most recent set of candles here are to the bearish side. Okay, so that's kind of what's kind of guiding my viewpoint, and we're below some of these indicators as well. Okay. 58 again is probably an area that we could find some buyers. But I think I'm going to be, if I'm going to looking to buy here, I'm going to be looking at the 58 level, 57.80 level as a logical place. If I'm interested in buying this market, that's going to be the area that I'm going to be focusing on. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead before we make our review of the equity markets. We're going to go ahead and add my little marketing hat here, my virtual little marketing hat, and see if I can encourage folks to hit the like. If you're not already a subscriber, to hit the subscribe button. And also, if you would be so kind to maybe consider leaving a comment or two on the channel, indicating on how this how this analysis is supporting your review and understanding of the markets. That's also welcomed as well. Okay. All right. So now that I've gotten through that, we'll go ahead and move into our equity markets here. Okay, taking a look at the Nasdaq, looks like maybe Santa has arrived. Okay, post maybe a little bit late, post Christmas here, but you see a market that's beginning to rally here. Okay, you can see that we have a oops, everything is alerting me here. You can see that we have broken some structure here to the upside. I had this 25,800 level that we did close above just prior to Christmas. And now we have yet another bullish candle that's broken outside of this consolidation range. Okay. So next logical level to retest, I would say, is this 26,250 level. Okay. 26,250. And this would probably change from a more of a symmetrical triangle to an ascending triangle. Nonetheless, we see that the market is continuing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the sixth day, assuming that we do indeed close as bullish of bullish price action in the NAS. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance ranges here for a minute and take a look and see what the 4-hour is telling us here. Let's see. We got remove some of our drawings here. Okay. This looks a little bit better. All right. So you can see that price is above everything that we care about. Okay. We had a nice little cross here of these ranges or these averages back here a week prior to Christmas. And we've been in a somewhat of a momentum in this market to the upside. You can see here that we are tracking quite nicely the 9 EMA, right, to the upside. Every pullback that we've had in this market, right, every pullback has found more buyers. Okay, so 4-hour certainly giving us indications that we are in some sort of bullish structure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark this area here because that was the last area where we've seen some selling. I'm going to go ahead and mark this as in red. Okay, indicating that's actually, now that we've broken it, we're going to go ahead and change this to green because that could be an area here above, right? This 25,810, 800 level, okay, could be a supportive area. Okay, this could be a supportive area. We retest and look to continue in that same direction. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 4-hour. I'm looking here to the left and seeing what kind of major resistance here. Certainly 26,000 would be the beginnings of maybe some resistance that we could find ourselves in the market, and then resistant all the way up, to 26,340. Okay, 340. Okay, seems to be a potential of some resistance that might come in to this market. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the 30-minute chart has to say. Let's see what the other sessions have to say about this market as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance here. And we are going to start off with the Asia market. And looking at the Asia market, you can see that the Asia market was initially bearish. Right? Found some buyers here at the, what is that? Looks like the 100 EMA. Okay, the 100 EMA, close to the 100 EMA, I should say. And as we approach the London session, you can see that we found some buyers, right? Very, very strong buyers, I might add. Okay, right. So we had a nice little initial balance range, an extension, a little pullback from the range, and obviously offered us, a nice little move here to the upside, beyond the 200% extension. So market seems to be quite bullish at the moment, right? We have a developing, one of the stronger candles here, very little in the way of wicks on these set of candles, indicating that there is still a fair amount of momentum to the bullish side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark this level here because assuming that we can close above this, this would be yet another logical area, right, for price to continue, maybe pull back to a little bit, right? Pull back maybe 25,900, and that could give us yet another leg. So we have, the 25,800 level, the 25,900 level. These are all levels that we can maybe use to maybe participate in continuation moves here to the upside. Now, I will say that we are a little bit extended. Let's see where my VWAP is. Did I turn off VWAP? No, VWAP's here somewhere. We are a little bit extended to the upside here. Okay, so there's our VWAP down at 25,884. So a little bit extended to the upside in this market. Our 9 EMA is close at 25,888. A lot has happened as a result of this current candle here. So I don't believe it's a news candle because there's no news to kind of help drive this here. Okay. So in any case, I think we are headed into a market that is showing some signs of bullish behavior. Now, it's going to be important for me to see that price is able to stay above, let's call it 25,900 or 25,908. Okay. Because if we do start to get below this level, then I start to look over here to the left-hand side and see that maybe this will maybe indicate that maybe we'll rotate back down to some of these levels below. Okay. But we are currently seeing a fair amount of strength in this market to the upside. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for you for the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ES. We'll start off with the daily, just like we did with the other markets here. We'll look at the daily and see what kind of candle is developing. And we have a developing bullish candle. Now, not of certainly not of the strongest variety, right? Because we have wicks on both ends of these candles, but it's a bullish candle nonetheless. And we've seen a series of bullish candles in this market of late. Now we have this 69.15 level, which I've had marked here as resistant. Well, now that we've broken that level to the upside, that looks more like a potential supportive level in this market. Okay, looking to the left. Okay. So 69.18 is this appears to be an area where I might be interested. Okay, I know this is a fair distance below, but that might be a location where I could maybe potentially look to for an opportunity to the long side. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. Sorry, 4-hour chart. Kind of zooming in on these daily candles here. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. We're going to get rid of as many drawings as we can here for a moment here. Okay, so you can see that the market continues. We had that same how we say crossover, right, on the EMAs, right? We had our short-term crossover on the EMAs above some of our longer ones, indicating that there is a fair amount of strength here to the upside in this market. We continue to staircase our way, right? Every 3 or so candles, we pull back and build up some momentum for yet another move to the upside. So still showing signs of bullish momentum. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart here, we're looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we were slightly bearish coming into this market during Asia. And I don't know if we're maybe showing maybe continued signs of maybe some bearish price action. We'll have to take a look here at the initial balance ranges and see. Let's go ahead and open that up here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the Asia session and see what Asia had to offer. Okay, there's Asia. All right, so initially Asia was to the bearish side. We got down to that 200% extension. That 200% extension, we see that often as areas of potential reversal. It's not the first time that we've reversed away from this 200% extension of the original initial balance range. Okay. Now we're showing a little bit of weakness here up against the initial balance low. Okay. Which gives us maybe some indication, possible indication that maybe there is a continuation move here coming up to the downside on this time frame. Let's take a look at the London session and see what London has to say from a market sentiment point of view. Looking at London, okay, so London, okay, has managed to get above. We had a nice little break above the initial balance range. Now, unlike the Nasdaq, where the Nasdaq gave us a nice little pullback and hold on the initial balance high, the ES took a little bit of a deeper pullback inside the initial balance range before it found some buyers. Okay, now the question is, are we? We've kind of reached not quite the 200%, but we've reached the 100%, and we've got to the point of control of this volume profile to the right here. Now the question becomes, are we going to be able to make a new high in this market? Are we going to be able to get above the 69.88 level? Okay, I'm going to mark that area as kind of resistant to price, because what it feels like that maybe the market might be content, right? We had price kind of extend lower. Now we have price extend higher in London, that the market might be content and remaining in some sort of range here, because I do see that we are developing a little bit in the way of some pattern here. Okay. We broke out and now we're back into developing some sort of pattern. Right. So I don't know. We could be in store for some sort of maybe some sort of consolidation again. Right. We go from trend to consolidation, potentially back to trend again. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see as we head into the session here, what kind of initial balance range we establish, and if we do get a break of initial balance in one direction or the other. Okay. Right now, I would say similar to this is not looking as bullish to me, okay, as say the Nasdaq, but I do see a market that maybe is looking to maybe consolidate here a little bit. Okay, it'll be interesting to see if we are able to get above this 69.85 candle, because the initial response to this area has been bearish. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if price does manage to get to that level again, whether we find more bears or whether we can have a continued move here above this consolidation pattern that I've drawn here on the charts. Okay. So neutral, I'm going to go neutral to, I guess, bullish. Okay. But I do need to see price be able to get above the 69.85 level to continue to embrace this bullish price action, because we have a quite the large wick here from 69.86 all the way down to the body of this, down to 69.81. All right, that's a 6-point wick on the ES here. Okay, so we'll have to see how this candle closes and whether it closes in the current fashion. That's showing a little bit of weakness here, and that could be the weakness that maybe drives price back to the initial balance high here at 69.78, or maybe runs through the entire initial balance range down to 69.75. That would be kind of another logical place, maybe if I was bullish, to maybe entertain an opportunity to the upside. Okay, but it does feel like maybe we are headed to a market that's going to be in some sort of range today. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and look at our last market, and that is last equity market. And then we're going to take a peek here at some alternative markets here. We're going to start off with we're going to look at the Dow here. Okay. Now, unlike the other markets, you see that we are developing a little bit in the way of a bearish candle here. So it's probably showing a little bit more weakness than maybe some of the other markets. It is also bullish. Okay. We've also broken above some areas that have been prior resistance areas. So we're going to go ahead and mark those, right? So this area here at 48,400, 48,000, maybe as low as 370, does appear to be an area that could offer us maybe a location to entertain bulls. Okay, right? Something along those lines. That's certainly a possibility. You can see that same cross that we saw on the lower EMAs crossing above our slower EMAs. That's usually an indication of some momentum coming into the market. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment and see what the initial balance is offering us here. And you can see that the initial balance, the 4-hour chart continues to give us a little bit of indication that there's maybe some more upside to this market. You can see that price is above our 9 EMA. We're going to go ahead and mark that in as we're going to go ahead and mark that in as an area of support here around I'm going to call it 48,995, somewhere in that range. Okay. Yeah, definitely a day to be potentially careful, right? We definitely don't have the market participants necessarily to drive these markets. So yes, I would agree. I would agree, Axman. This might be a day to be a little bit more careful than most. Okay. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart here, we're going to go ahead and compare this similar kind of look and feel that we've gotten here. You can see that price has made it or is working its way above, showing us some signs of some bullish price action. Okay. In London, feeling blessed. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various markets. We're going to go ahead and open that up here. Okay. So we're going to open up not London, but Asia. Asia looks like was initially to the short side. Yes, congrats is definitely in order. Right? So you can see, right? You can see that the market was initially bearish, right? We got a nice little break to the downside, a retest of the initial balance low, and a pretty good extension to the downside until London got in the picture, and London has been driving price what it looks like the opposite direction. Okay, so London has been driving price the other way. Okay, we did take a peek here to the downside, managed to get back inside the initial balance range, and now we're potentially challenging price above the initial balance range. Okay, and looking to maybe extend and maybe revisit some of these highs here at 49,072. Okay, so let's see what else could be. Oh, I wanted to maybe take a look. Well, a fixed range volume profile. I think this profile here is probably giving us some indication as to the most recent price action, right? So leading up to Christmas, we had a very nice bullish move. On the open since Christmas, we've been a little bit in a bearish kind of consolidation pattern. And now we're at a level here that could lead to maybe some momentum to the upside, right? So again, market does appear to be a little bit bullish. Okay, we'll have to see if we do manage to get above this initial balance high, that could offer us maybe another extension. Otherwise, we could remain in this bearish channel here. We could remain in this range that's been established since the open of the sessions yesterday. Okay, so similar to the other markets, I would say again, I think a market that's probably in some sort of range is probably a good call here. I'm going to be waiting to see what kind of extensions, if any, we do get in the New York session around these markets, and then from there, decide on which direction I want to participate in these markets. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at one alternative market, and that will be the silver market. Okay. Okay. Silver has been a mover of late. Daily chart is giving us again another indication of some bullish price action here, where we've reached the 75 level here. It's been pretty parabolic. Okay, I have to admit this is a pretty parabolic move in the silver market, and honestly, to expect this kind of continued move in this direction, I guess we follow it until it's not followed. Okay, because this is pretty parabolic. All right, pretty vertical. Okay. Daily chart showing signs of strength here to the upside. 4-hour chart also showing some strength. We're going to go ahead and remove initial balance here. We'll shut this down here for a little bit. Okay, so price above all our EMAs. We had price retest this 9 EMA. Okay, at 73. Let's call it 73.40. 73.450. Okay. And looks like we found, at least temporarily, we found some buyers. Okay. Now the question becomes, are we going to be able to make a new high? Because the market has been strong of late. We continue to show signs of strength. We continue to hug above the 9 EMA. But we've had a series of candles here over the past 90 minutes, or actually past 12 hours, that I guess the market hasn't been able to make a move in either direction. Now, one thing I will say, though, is as long as this candle remains intact, okay, as long as this candle remains intact, then I have to err on the side of the bulls, right? As long as I don't get a close below this candle, right, below this 72,645 level, then I have to think that there's still some more upside opportunities in this market. All right, taking a look at the 30-minute. 30-minute looks like we are on the lower end of the range here. Looks like we have created a little bit of a demand area here. I'm seeing, okay, this little demand zone here has been established. All right, so 73.70, okay, 73.70 I would say is an important level if we are going to continue bullish. We need to stay above this 73.75, okay, because again we had two pretty solid candles here to the bearish side on the 30-minute side that we have to, again, we need to figure out a way to get above if we were going to continue this bullish structure here. Okay, so let's take a look here at the let's see, initial balance here, just to kind of compare where initial balance is compared to other sessions here. All right, we'll start off with the Asia session here. Look into Asia. Okay, so Asia was slightly bullish. It did manage to get above, but basically hung out at the high end of the initial balance range for basically the entire session. Probably made for a relatively nice ORB trade, right? Opening range breakout trade in the Asia market, but really didn't offer us much more than that. Okay, taking a look at the London market. London market looks like it's giving us a little bit of a mixed signal here. So let's see what London is telling us. So London, right, we have price has extended the range to the downside and has not been able to close back inside the initial balance range as yet. Okay. So assuming that we can get back inside the initial balance range, certainly the other side of the initial balance range would be the target. Now that's a relatively small target, to be honest. I'm getting some buy signals here in the gold. Okay. So here we are, right? Here we are, maybe looking to maybe the potential of price getting back inside this initial balance range, and then maybe offering us an opportunity to maybe for price to reach the other side of the initial balance range and maybe a retest of the highs here. Okay. So as long as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, I would say that we need to continue to look for that. Now, the only thing that's causing me a little bit of pause here is that we have these two pretty daunting candles here to the left of the market, right? And so that could cause the market at any moment in time here, while we are inside that range, for sellers to potentially step back in. Okay, so that's kind of what we're up against here. Okay, let's see. I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys. So I think like I said, it'll be interesting to see if we do indeed get closed back inside this initial balance range. If we do get a close back inside the initial balance range, I think the other side of the range is just a matter of time, and maybe we potentially reach the other side of this of the range that's been established for the market today. Okay. All right. So let's take one last peek across all the markets. Like I said, I was getting some sort of notification here, some buying activity here. Okay. Or buying potential in the gold. Well, you can see that we got a nice little extension here to the upside, right? Nice little extension in the London market. And now we have a developing candle. We're going to go ahead and turn this into a 50-minute chart. So you can see here that we revisited the initial balance high and reacted away from it. Now the question is, do we have the momentum? And not seeing it at the moment. The momentum is not, volume has not really come into this just yet. Do we have the momentum to maybe carry this a little bit further, maybe as high as 45.75? Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Nonetheless, it does appear to be a market that is continuing to show signs of strength. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil again showing continued weakness here. Okay, I think I had even mentioned this 56.80 level. So we show some signs of weakness in this market. Okay, didn't provided us a little bit of an extension to the downside. Didn't really give us a little bit of anything in the way of a pullback. Now we're down to this 56.80 level, which should be a potential area of some support in this market that could provide us maybe a leg up to at least the initial balance low possibilities here. Okay, but nonetheless, a market that still is showing signs of weakness. Okay, Nasdaq. We were kind of looking bullish for most of this. Now we're starting to see some signs of weakness. We had a rather strong bearish candle closing. We took a peek above, found some sellers. Now the question is, is this truly a swing to the downside? If so, then we need to close below this 25,895 level. And then that maybe opens up the door for us to maybe revisit 25,870 and maybe the highs of the initial balance range for London. Okay, so beginning to show some signs of bearish. Okay, ES similar. Okay, I took a swing higher, found some sellers, got to the top of the range, right, top of this triangle pattern that we had drawn here earlier. And now looks like we found some sellers here up at the top. Okay. The Dow, similar kind of price action. We took a peek above, and now again, we found some sellers here. So just to summarize, if I had to summarize across all these markets here, I would say that gold continues to show signs of strength. Silver, I think, is showing a little bit of strength outside of those two bearish candles there. Equities, probably a little bit of range to bearish, and then crude oil definitely on the bearish side here. Okay, so unless there's questions here, guys, I'd encourage you, if you have not already, our like indicator is pretty much aligned with the participants that we have in the room. I will be in Fast Markets today on Top Step TV. So with a panel of folks there, I can't remember. I think Mohammed, maybe Coach Hoop, I think are going to be part of the panel here for Fast Markets on Top Step TV. So you can catch me there. Okay. All right. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, again, guys. This being the end of the week, this is being a Friday, this being still a holiday week. Be careful, okay? Be careful with the trades. Be careful with the expectations on where these trades could go, because a lot of the participants that we need to drive markets are not going to be in the markets, okay? All right. Well, again, congratulations, ST, on your on very successful overnight trade. Okay, or say overnight session. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close this session off, guys. As we close most sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent trading day, guys. And if I don't see you on Fast Markets, I think I might even be a part of Power Hour today as well. Otherwise, we'll pick up again on Monday. Have a great day trading. Stay safe